Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee with me, Michael. I am starting with this first topic because I'm hoping to get my blood pressure up and hopefully wake up a little bit quicker. So, we are still apartment hunting, even though we are trying to move in 3 weeks. And apartment hunting has gotten ridiculous. I have never had this much trouble finding a place before, but aside from the cost of applying, which costs anywhere, per application per place is $30 to $100. And it's not like, put an application fee with one company and suddenly you can use that application fee to pay for all of to apply for all of the apartments or whatever owned by or managed by the same company. Nope. Even though it's the same company, you got to pay that $30 to $100 for each individual place that you're applying for, which is just insane. So, the other challenges we've been going through, other than the fact that it's so goddamn expensive just to apply, and here's the thing also about putting in this application fee, right? You have no idea if they're even going to review that application. You have no way of knowing that they're even going to look at your application. So you're putting in $30 to $100, and they might not even touch it, And then you have no idea if that place is even still available. They could still have the listing up, and you put in the application cost, and that unit's actually already gone. So you just pissed away $30 to $100. It's ridiculous. And then, I can feel my blood pressure coming up. I'm waking up. And then the other challenges with this process has just been like, first of all, everyone that says they're okay with dogs is like, no more than 25 pounds. What? Even in houses, they're like, no more than 25 pounds. And I'm like, where are you? Like, why is this 25 pounds and why is it so restricted to that? It's bad enough when I find a place that says no Rottweilers or Pit Bulls, none of that. And I'm like, oh, you're dog racist. You're a dog racist for sure. But then when they say no dogs over 25 pounds, it pisses me off even more. And then, I got more. What's going on here? Dog races, the cost. I can't think of any more. I thought I would have this on the top of my head, but I'm not having it. There's just so many challenges surrounding this, and it's exhausting. It is ridiculous. Man. But we're running out of time because we're like 3 weeks away where I am supposed to be like in the car literally driving to the new place. So gotta figure it out soon. Alright, I'm so early and need this to raise my blood pressure to wake up because I have breakfast to go make for about up to 100 people this morning. Ooh, man, I'm struggling. It's like my last hurrah for fraternity related stuff, and I've talked about that a few times throughout this show. And then after this, I get to back out and just be an alumni that participates and doesn't organize everything or lead stuff. This is I started my slow retraction of involvement since I finished my term as president of the alumni board a year ago. And so I've talked about my involvement with the fraternity in a couple different ways and talked about the importance of being involved from a civic standpoint a few weeks ago too. But this is kind of the last hurrah. It's our 75th anniversary of our founding here at University of Idaho, and so this is kind of the last shindig for it. But I've got this whole shebang to manage, from the breakfast to managing the speakers and giving speeches throughout the weekend, merchandise sales. So I'm all about the merch game. I have tons of merchandise ideas, stuff like I came up with custom Lego sets of the house to sell money to raise for repairs. I've got tons of different cool shirt designs that we're selling, and so I've got all these other ideas just to help raise some money by selling to alumni to support like scholarships and repairs on the chapter house, because that chapter house is she's probably approaching 100 years old now. So she's got a lot of issues she needs help with. So basically, my role is making sure that everything this weekend runs smoothly, including this big project that I've been working on that is the culmination of my entire cumulative experiences of being in the fraternity and working, and that's this restoration and refurbishment plan. It's asking for a shit ton of money this weekend to get it all fixed up. So anyways, this is all boring in case you're not in a fraternity, but it's my life, and that's what this podcast is about, so whatever. So I've got this, and then 3 weeks later I'm moving, and then 3 weeks after that I'm getting married. So it's just like equally spaced out stressors, right? And I think we've gathered in this show that I'm a bit of a stressor. And so I cannot wait for this to be over, because I just need a little bit less stress in my life. So between this event and everything I have to micromanage, and then still not finding an apartment, and then the wedding, thank God we have the wedding figured out. Because if the wedding wasn't figured out and I was having to stress it as much as I was these other two items, the fact that I don't have a place to live in a couple weeks, and I'm moving in a couple weeks, and then everything that I have to just do this weekend, I don't think I would be able to exist at this point. So, the ending is in sight, and I cannot wait to finally relax after the wedding, when all three of these little pieces come together and they're done with. Last summer I really wanted to relax, but I couldn't actually find the time or way to relax, because they're just like, I honestly think there was maybe two, maybe a third weekend in which I didn't have to go do something for someone or go somewhere to do something. Like, it was just cram packed with stuff, and not necessarily not like vacations or like things that like all necessarily like brought me joy or happiness or whatever. So last summer was not very relaxing at all. But this year it's my mission to relax and enjoy the summer. Enjoy, especially being freshly married. Like I want to have some barbecues with friends, since I'm moving back to an area where like all of my friends exist, like 90% of people I am friends with to this day live in and around Boise. So I want to reconnect with them. I want to go kayaking. I want to cook lots of good food for YouTube. That is going to be the only thing I stress about this weekend, or this summer, hopefully, is just my YouTube channel. So YouTube channels. I'm going to try my hardest to only do things I really want to do and enjoy actually doing. I have no idea how well that's going to work out for me. But I will be using the excuse that I'm freshly married in some capacity. I'm going to be able to use that as an excuse to get away with not doing anything that I don't want to do. I don't know how to word that or phrase it yet, but when someone asks me to do something, I'm just going to come up with some kind of excuse like, oh, shoot, freshly married wife and I need to go do this thing, I don't know. We'll come up with an excuse, a way for me to get out of things. Because I really don't want to do things I don't want to do this summer. One thing that I feel like I want to do is I want 100% a select list of games. I don't know which games it would be yet. I'm working through a backlog of 300 games that I've started and never actually completed. So I need to pick a small, tight list of those that I actually want to go back and finish up this summer. And work on those. It's weird in that I have 300 games on Xbox alone that I have started and not finished because first of all I'm built as a person that finishes things, and I've always been about 100%ing stuff, and yet here I am with a backlog of over 300 games in which I have not done that. So that is also something I would like to do this summer for me, because that would make me happy. But we'll see how well that works out. Anyways, one more video game note that I just want to slide in there. I've got this goal to get to 75% completions of every game I've ever played. So of that 300, it's I have no idea. I don't know, 210 maybe, something like that. I want to 100% those, but that's a lot, It's a lifetime of games that I've started and never finished, and getting to that. So I originally set this plan for 2027, and then they're like, well, the stats came in. They're like, you'd have to do 8 achievements per day to get this by 2027. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not realistic. And achievements are just beat the game on normal mode, hard mode, extra challenging mode, or do the special thing, whatever. And that's never going to happen. So now I'm planning to hit the 70% completion of my backlog by 2030. I think that might be possible. We'll see. Anywho, we're doing a 15-minute episode this week because I have to go start making that breakfast for all those people. But thank God I have a couple of older gentlemen coming to help me and cut up the fruit. And I did overnight oats. And honestly, I'm so stressed out about whether or not those turned out, because I did a big batch of overnight oats, and I don't know if a batch that size will set the way it's supposed to. We're gonna find out in about 20 minutes when I get over to the fraternity house to inspect everything and start prepping. But with that, I'm going to leave us off with our podcast recommendation of the week. I finally have a podcast again, and it's going to be the Bizkit podcast. It's a Canadian hockey fan podcast, and it's actually very funny, and it's kind of chirpy in the way that you would expect from something hockey related, which makes it, of course, far more entertaining. But they have this segment where, my God, so they take in voicemails from people, and they don't cherry pick the voicemails. They're very clearly like, oh, yeah, we'll take this one. And it'll be them getting called out, cussed out, or being told how they're effing morons or whatever. And then they have some funny response, and then they move on to the next one. So they have a great segment in there of taking in voicemails and responding back to those in kind. And wow, do these guys get some hardcore hate for their takes and stuff, and as you would expect in hockey, right? And they've always they're pretty quick on their feet to come up with funny responses. But all in all, it's a pretty good show. If you're at all interested in hockey, this will be entertaining. If you are not interested in hockey, this is a podcast for you to skip. You probably will not be able to find humor in it. However, hockey is about the only quote unquote real sport that I actually like and semi try to follow. So I personally did enjoy this podcast. Anywho, we're at a 15-minute mark. I gotta get going. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good week. I don't know. I can't think of an ending. I can't decide what kind of ending that I actually like in this podcast. Like, have a great day. Have a great week. See you next time. Thanks for being with me. All these that everyone typically does. I can't decide what I actually like. So, have a good life, I guess.